This 21st November meeting of the Council of the Municipality of the County of Annapolis will be viewed not only by those who tune in on a regular basis, but also by some friends in Germany. Good Morgen, unsere Freunde in Deutschland. Willkommen in Canada. Wie geht es Ihnen heute Morgen? Alles ist gut in Annapolis County here in Canada. The famous poet Rupert Brooke, in one of his works, said in his reference to fallen soldiers that there will always be some corner of a foreign field that is forever England. The same holds true for Canada. November is the month of remembrance, and especially November the 11th, when we thank all those who have served and are serving in our Canadian Armed Forces. And recently, each of us attended ceremonies. Let me tell you of a story about a small village in southeastern Germany that is forever Canadian. As many of you know, Flying Officer Robert Fitzgerald Conroy, uncle of my wife Elizabeth McMichael, was a bomber pilot of 429 Squadron, Royal Canadian Air Force. He was shot down and killed in March of 1944. He stayed at the controls of his Halifax bomber in order to allow his crew to parachute safely. He and his plane landed near the small village of Merbitz. If you look up Leipzig and you look up Halle, then you'll find Merbitz. His body was taken from the plane, held in the local cemetery for a few days, and buried beside a small tree in the local German cemetery. A few years later, his remains were removed to the Commonwealth War Graves site in Berlin. We have met the pilot who shot him down. We have visited the village of Merbitz and met folks who saw the plane the day after it landed. When Elizabeth and I decided to write about Gerald, I was directed by a friend of mine in the German army to a man in Merbitz who might be able to help. We have formed an everlasting friendship with him and his family. His name is Michael Leibrich. His parents are Sieglinde and Gerhard Leibrich. He has a sister, Sandra, married to Oiko, and with a son, Alexander. Michael, Sandra, Oiko, and Alexander have been here in Annapolis County to visit a number of times and will be here again in June. They have visited Gerald's home and have viewed the various monuments here in Nova Scotia, including one in Middleton, on which Gerald's name is inscribed. Now, aided by Gisela Kruger, the president of the local historical society. Have we got those things? I'll continue. Gisela Kruger, the president of the local historical society, Michael and Sandra, established a memorial to honor Gerald. Every Remembrance Day, November the 11th, and every 24th of March, the day of Gerald's death, they lay flowers on this monument. The story is widely known in that part of Germany and has been featured in local newspaper and television articles. Thus, next year, when we all attend Remembrance Day ceremonies here, we can think of that small village in Germany in which residents are gathering to remember a Canadian Air Force pilot who died for his country. From Canada to all our German friends, vielen Dank und auf Wiedersehen. We'll begin with roll call. District 1, please.
Bruce Pratt.
District 2, Brian Pascal.
District 3, Dustin Enslow.
District 4, Lloyd Barham.
District 5, Lynn Longmire.
District 6, Alec Morrison.
District 7, David Husson.
District 8, Michael Gunn.
District 9, Wendy Sheridan.
District 10, Greg Redden.
District 11, Diana Gunn.
Thank you. Are there any disclosures of interest? Councillor Enslow, please.
I believe the RCMP topic was added to the agenda. I have a conflict as being an employee of the Royal Canadian Mounted Police.
Thank you. Any others? Councillor Hudson.
Yes, I'd like to just add a brief item to the agenda, and that would be the old Bridgetown Elementary School.
Thank you.
Is this what we're taking in addition to the agenda?
Are there further disclosures of interest?
Council, we had an interest activity, the whole in review.
I was hoping to see that, but I
It's
didn't.
5.7.
Oh, yeah. Well, no, because I'm not even on that committee. I didn't declare any.
That's right.
I might,
Councillor Prout, please.
5.6 is the community grant for Melbourne Square area Community Center Association, and we do sit on that, so
Thank you. Now we move to the order of the day, and Councillor Hudson has indicated a new item. Thank you. Councillor
What
Gunn.
is it again, sir?
Sorry, could you repeat?
Yes, I'd just like it added the old Bridgetown Elementary School.
Thank you.
So
Councillor
that'll be
Gunn.
under new business,
Yes.
6.5.
Councillor Gunn, please.
I'm not sure which number it would be, but under new is the UARB decision, please. I'd like to discuss that.
We'd like to add item 5.10, circulated to councillors by email under Committee of the Whole recommendations. It's regarding the RCMP Policing Services Facility Agreement with the town of Middleton. It just got omitted in error.
And that would be 5.10.
That is 5.10.
Thank you. Any other? Do I have a motion to approve the order of the day as amended, please? Councillor Long, seconded by Councillor Sheridan. Discussion? All in favor?
Yes.
Thank you. Minutes of the October meeting of council. Thank you. We'll move to page 11, please. Committee of the Whole recommendations to the municipal council. 5.1, electronic voting bylaw. Deputy Warden, please.
I move that the full council give first reading to enact C8 electronic voting bylaw, which repeals C8 alternative voting bylaw.
Thank you. Seconded by Councillor Block. Discussion. Councillor Enslow, followed by Councillor Hudson.
Thank you. I believe I sent out my thoughts to the rest of council earlier throughout the week, but I'm getting a lot of concerns from the citizens within my district and me personally around this. Not the fact of digital voting in general, there's a few of them with security issue, but it's around my concern of the vulnerable people that do not have access to the electronic systems to do this. So there's people that are within the property line that do not have computers, that don't have access to phones, that do not have the ability to go long distances to find a place to vote. I just feel that we're letting those citizens down by not giving them the opportunity to vote with a paper ballot. Now, I understand the fact of the cost savings, which usually I'm all for saving any dollar for the municipality. But when it comes to telling people that, sorry, if you can't do this, then you can't vote. And I really strongly disagree with that. Do we need to have as many polling stations as we did in the past? No. But I believe a hybrid model, something similar to the by-election in February. I know the numbers weren't very high during that time. However, you need to think about the fact that it was the middle of winter. Me personally, when I was campaigning, I knew that it was difficult even to reach people between the snowstorms and things. But a normal election happens in the fall, so the turnout may be higher. I will not be supporting this based on the disadvantages that it could affect people. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Hudson, please.
Thank you very much. I will just briefly echo what Councillor Ensor has just said.
Good. Thank you.
But I would like to add something. Okay. I think what we've been presented with is the policy. It says something in one place and it says something different in another spot. I missed the committee of the whole meeting. I was away. Going back and looking at what was presented, under the discussion part, it said that an electronic voting system, including the voter helpline, is in keeping with the Annapolis County Accessibility Plan 2022, which states the county is committed to meeting the needs of individuals who face barriers to accessibility in our community. Well, having said that, and then if you look at the policy itself, you get down to Section 8. And Section 8 in that policy, or the former policy, had to do with friend voting. And I don't really see the point of removing it. I still think that we should have friend voting. It says that the first line in that section says a friend voter shall only vote for an electorate by alternative electorate voting. So I don't see why it has to be on the. I guess I'm just saying I don't see why that is being removed. I still think that we should have friend voting. Like if I have somebody that is say my spouse as an example, right, that is blind or deaf, I don't see why I could not assist her in voting. And that's what I'm talking about, friend voting. So I don't believe that section should have been removed. I think it's an important section and that it should remain. So, having said that, I will not be voting in favor of the recommendation.
Thank you. Councillor Conway, please.
I didn't vote for this policy at committee of the whole. I was against it then and I'm against it today. Some of the issues I have is that stating the money. Where does people think the money come from? The money comes from the constituents. We're fast enough to take their taxes. We want to take away their advantage of getting out to vote. That doesn't impress me as a county councillor, that we're here for our citizens. So if we're scared to spend their money on something they want, and we spend it on stuff they don't want, it makes for a poor councillor. So I will not be supporting this.
Thank you.
If I may, just to clarify Councillor Hudson's point, under a paper ballot system in person, there's certain criteria that must be met for someone to be a friend of an elector to go help them vote at a polling station, which is why it's in the old bylaw, or sort of the current bylaw, which allows a certain person to win a polling station and help. Under the proposed bylaw, anybody can help them. So right now it's very restrictive. It's only a certain type of person can help them. You can only help one person typically. Under the proposed system, under electronic vote, anybody in your house can help you, your neighbor can help you, your friend down the street can help you. So it's actually more accessible to people than the current bylaw.
Thank you. Councillor Longmire, please.
Thank you so much. I just would like to add that although I live in an area where there is not a stable internet, and have for some time and continue to do so, I continue to try and find options, and I think that this in no way is going to take away the options that still do exist, and most do have a landline phone, and this is not in any way me trying to suggest that I'm for or against, because I will have to weigh in on what my vote's going to look like. But landlines are an option. There are always libraries, and I know we've talked about that before, and I know that the comments do come up around security with voting, and around that security piece, I know people feel less than confident. It's a new thing. Something new always brings about some challenges and as well concern. I would like to think that the companies that are going to be considered for this would be able to provide us with all of the intricacies that will show us and demonstrate for us that they provide the service that we need. I think in the future, our votes are going to look rather different. And we know that COVID did happen, and we were at the mercy of a new way of doing things, many things. And so that is going to be something we will face in the near future. Again, I'm sure of it. So we do need to start looking at what this is going to look like and how we're going to proceed. And so great discussion. But I just wanted to add that the landlines are important to as well make note of. Oh, and one other point. What is the voting window? Did I miss it?
It's 10 days.
It's
open 24/7.
Okay, and so I mean it does offer lots of options for going somewhere else and making your vote and whatnot. Thanks.
Thank you. Councillor Sheridan, please.
So it was mentioned before, staffing was an issue to staff an election for community halls. And as we know, even in an office, how hard it is to get staff here, So I'm concerned that we wouldn't have enough people to work in these polls to really do go back to paper ballots. So that also raises a concern with me. So I just want to point that out.
Thank you. Councillor Prowler, please.
Thank you. For those who have been following this debate for a number of years, you may recall that heading into the 2020 election, I was not in favor of electronic voting. I was looking for at least a hybrid. However, looking back to the 2020 election, with the number of days that it was open, and the fact that we're now going 24/7 again for 10 days. If you check the stats, the number of votes that were cast were increased quite a high level because we offered that opportunity. I do agree that there are parts of the county where internet service is sketchy at best, but a landline, I'm sure if there's a house that is using a cell phone, there must be, in all probability, someone nearby with a landline, and over that 10-day period, you could say to your neighbor, would you mind if I came over? I'd like to cast my vote. So I'm in favor of this going through.
Thank you. Councillor Long, please.
Thank you. I'm in favor in the electronic voting, mainly because of the time periods that everything is open, and it should be clear enough. The paper voting is an issue because of people manning the polls. we didn't have a discussion, or did we have a discussion on having one or two open, and it would still be electronic, either by phone or by computer with one assistant, but no paper? Would that be the same, or is the paper thing is the catch-all? There's my question.
Thank you.
Oh, right here.
Councilor Gunn.
Thank you very much. I don't like the fact that my bank is taking away my options to do banking and make me go to electronic banking. We're all kind of against that. This is just the one thing. And I don't like the way that we're pushing one way to vote onto our citizens in the county. That's what I feel we're pushing them. We're giving them no option. But I do realize that we have to keep up with the times, and the times are changing. You know, times are changing. I'm actually doing electronic banking now. Don't ask me how. So, you know, maybe we should just take some time to implement this. Maybe next election. Maybe this election this fall, but maybe the election after that, just go to full time. This election, I think there's still enough older people around that are a little bit intimidated by voting electronically. And I think we need to get by that. I think maybe another election after this next election, we'll probably do that. And maybe by that time we'll have some other things straightened out as how many districts it'd be as well at that time. Or we can just let the next council deal with that. I'm done. Thank you.
All in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Opposed? 1, 2, 3, 4. The motion is passed. I was particularly interested in Councillor Gunn's reference to older people and that we wait. Does that mean things all the older people will have died off?
Now, rather than you make fun of what I had to say,
I have the floor.
Well, you do, but
Yes, I have.
there's no need to make
And I'll tell you, I am not making fun. Everyone knows my predilection with regard to the word seniors. And for any item in our county, we can probably find people of every age group who are in favor or not in favor. Thank you. 5.2, please. Audit Committee new, Councillor Sheridan.
I move that Municipal Council approve Policy 104 respecting the establishment of an audit committee in accordance with 7-day notice given on November the 14th, 2023.
Thank you. Seconded by Councillor Longmire. Discussion. Councillor Hudson.
Thank you very much. I guess my thoughts about this proposed change to the audit committee is that we're too early looking at this. And I think it's something that we should be looking at down the road a piece. And why I say that is simply a couple of reasons. The first one being is that I don't think we should make this move until council is receiving regular financial statements, right? I think there's a responsibility for all councillors and council as a whole have a responsibility to the public. We are the keepers of the public purse, and I think we need to have regular financial information. So receiving those reports goes hand in hand, in my mind, to a certain extent, when it rolls over to the audit committee. In addition, in respect to it being too early, it says in the membership that members shall be appointed for a 2-year term in November after each regular municipal election and each 2 years thereafter. So I would suggest that the appropriate time to make this change would be immediately following the next general election. That way there, we'd be able to appoint people to the committee, and we'd have some continuity in those members. Changing it now, people talk about council members may change, okay? And so then you might have a new council members coming on that you're going to have to get up to speed and so on and so forth in respect to the county's affairs. So I guess my feeling is that the timing of this is just too early, and it should be something that we should be looking at a later date. I don't disagree that changes are needed, but it's just the timing of the change is my concern.
Thank you. Good point. All in favor? Opposed?
She wants to speak. Is that okay?
Sorry.
Oh, okay. Councillor Longmire.
Sorry about that. I was a bit delayed. Thank you. I would have to disagree actually with Councillor Hudson. I don't think we should be waiting. I don't think there's ever going to be a perfect time to put the proper type of committee together that will have the opportunity to go through the most sensitive information that we have, which is the public purse. We need to be able to have the right set of eyes and a more consistent set of eyes from council on in this manner. And so, I mean, I was a bit the part about members from council that are financially literate. I mean, it could be some concern to me. I don't know if every council will always have membership that would be literate that way. So in that sense, I would agree with Councillor Hudson, but I really don't want to delay it. I think that we need to put this together and move forward.
Further discussion, Councillor.
Thank you. Well, I wasn't going to talk about it, but now I am. I am for it 100%. I see the benefits, the fact that we can probably have more meetings and more frank discussions, but also deep discussions on our financial situation. But right now, we're really not meeting as much as I feel we should for audit or just financials in general. And the fact of having this smaller group with hopefully the members that are elected to this group maybe have experience within the financial world that understand different things. And the fact that we're going to have more community involvement as well. The fact that right now we have one person from the public doesn't really give a good impression of the public. But that being said, sometimes it's hard to find the three people. But I think if we tried hard enough, we would find some people that are really interested in it. So I'm 100% supportive of this. I think it looks well for us to go forward in the right financial direction. And hopefully we'll start seeing more financial documents. I know today we're getting a bit of an update on certain things, which is great. So I'm 100% for it.
Thank you. Councillor O'Brien, please.
Thank you. In the document itself for the policy, it does say that the committee is going forward would be meeting no less than 4 times a year. So the mandate is there for them to meet. I do as well have a concern about having members that could at one time as a council not have experience in the financial world. But I guess, if we all run somewhat of the household and somewhat of this, we should have some idea, not as much as others. However, there's a concept. This smaller, it would be 3 councillors, 3 citizens should be able to take care of business as it should be if they have the experience as well. And from what we've seen, I think there's quite a few people out there that our citizens are quite capable of being volunteers to these committees, that are capable of being on the audit committee. Waiting could be an option, but why wait? We might as well go forward. We seem to be getting in the right space there for our finances as we are going ahead. As some councillors have said before, I might be sitting here, doesn't mean that on a committee that I know what I'm talking about, but I'm asking questions. So, maybe if we have the direction of 6 that know exactly what they're talking about, it would be a benefit, of course.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Councillor Gunn, please follow.
Thank you. So I just need some clarification. This is what I need, because I'm kind of all for this because I really don't know that much about financial statements, right? It's very hard for me to follow along not having a background in that. So if we put this motion through, councillors that end up on this committee will still have to report to us councillors that aren't on the committee, so we know every quarterly, so we know where our county finances are?
Not exactly. It's not the council. It's not the councillors on the committee that will report to council. It's the audit committee.
The audit committee will then report to council. At the end of each quarter.
Council has the final say.
Okay, thank you.
Councillor Hudson, please.
Yeah, just add one thing.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes. Oh, yes. I had your name down.
Good find your stacks. Thank you. Just one comment. I think this is the way we should be going. There's community councilors and not public involved at this point. And so I really think that this is the right way to go. I don't believe we should be waiting unless we put a caveat on that committee is picked and ready to be implemented at election time. If we do it now, this may give us enough time with the thoughts on having a problem finding people to fill committees, that we would have time between now and next fall to search out the appropriate people. So that's my thought.
Thank you. Councillor Hudson.
Yes, I just wanted to add a comment on what Councillor Gunn has said. Yes, it would be the committee's responsibility to provide reports to the full council in respect to the financial position of the county. However, if financial reports aren't available, they would not be able to provide any report. You know what I mean? You've got to have reports to be able to discuss, review as a committee, and then make a report to council. Without those regular reports, the committee would not be able to fulfill its role.
Thank you. Further discussion? All in favor? Opposed?
I guess that's one.
One against. Motion is carried. Thank you. Countywide Municipal Planning Strategy and Land Use Bylaw. Deputy Warden, please.
I move the Municipal Council call a Planning Advisory Committee meeting on Thursday, December 14th, 2023 at 6 p.m. at the Annapolis Royal Fire Hall for consideration of the countywide planning documents, with Monday, December 18th, 2023 as an alternate date in the event of inclement weather.
Thank you. Seconded by Councillor Ensor. Discussion. Councillor Connell, please.
I had a phone call this morning on the way down. The gentleman had a hard time. He still can't get on the county website to find the new amended proposed plan. And I talked to Linda, and she's going to try to get a hard copy to him. But also, again, I know that we've tried and tried, but constituents do feel they're not being notified about important issues in this county. And I don't have the answer, because we've tried several times to get things out to the community. But I heard that in Springfield, it was to do with the way flyers were sent out. This gentleman said that some people in Marcusville got flyers and some didn't. So, like I said before, I don't know the answer, but I know that our constituents are concerned that we're putting things and pushing things through, and they're not getting proper input. So.
Thank you. Councilor Ainsworth, please.
Thank you. I'm glad to see that we're starting to move forward with the plan, even though we don't have a planner per se. And with this meeting, since we have quite a bit of time ahead of time, it'd be nice for us to really look at how we're going to engage the public for notification. So a lot like what Councillor Connell was saying is, perhaps for this one, because it is another opportunity for the public to attend, to voice their concerns, if we could look at other avenues, whether, like I mentioned in the past, about higher level newspapers, where even if they don't get the newspaper, most people read it online, so you can do it that way. Within my area, I know that the Bridgetown Reader is the biggest thing to get information out, but I think if we really look at how we're going to reach everyone or as many people as possible and try to think outside the box, perhaps radio ad or whatever, because this is another opportunity for people to come and voice their concerns, and for or against or what have you. But I'm glad that we're finally moving forward with this.
Thank you. Councilor Leblanc, please, followed by Councilor Longmire.
Thank you. It's always been a concern of how we let our constituents know of meetings, and it's always been, yes, the papers have been sent out, but somehow from point A to point B and getting to the actual mailboxes somehow, the gremlins come and get them. The only thing I can say for that one. But we do have an electronic sign in Bridgetown. And I presume that this would be on the electronic sign as a way of telling the public and people go through Bridgetown. But I'm concerned. I would think that we should have radio ads possibly, but maybe, again, I'm thinking about electronic signs, and maybe we should have one on each end of the county, and then that way, as people go by them, or other people go by them, they inform each other and so forth. And they get to know that, oh, there is a sign there that's going to tell us if there's something meeting coming up from the county, whatever. We have a problem, there is no doubt. But I'm glad we're going forward with this, as everybody has mentioned. But we do have to look at other alternatives so that we can definitely help our constituents know what is happening.
Thank you. Councilor Longmire, please.
Thank you. You took the words right out of my mouth, Councilor LeBlanc. I'm not going to say anything more. That was perfect.
Thank you. Councilor Crabb, please.
I'll also chime in on that. I think if there was a similar setup to what's in Bridgetown, in the East End, whether station area at some point, or it moved even, doesn't have to move. People, there are points in the East End that people, it's sort of a choke point. You can see it from District 1, people from District 2 would go by, District 11, and people in Nicktaw as well, because we don't have anything like that up there. And perhaps in the West End, any one couple of spots, you tend to be drawn to something like that. I know we've talked We've been at this now, how many months? It's over 2 years working on this from its origin to where you can see the finish line, and there are still people who have not been aware or been made aware. You know, you put a sign up in your district when you're given the flyers. People don't always see or hear or read that, and that's unfortunate. Thank you.
All right, all in favor? Opposed? Thank you, motion carried. Community grants applications, Granville Ferry Community Association. Would that be you, Councilor Darko, or?
Okay, motion. The municipal council approve a grant to the Granville Ferry Community Association in the amount of $2,400 to support upgrades and repairs to the hall in accordance with AM 1.4.9 community grants, community halls and centers assistance program.
Thank you. Seconded by Councilor Long. Thank you. Discussion. Councilor Hudson.
One quick question. This item on the agenda, as well as the next three, what were the dates of those applications? Were they prior to our October council meeting, or were they after? Because at our council meeting, we repealed that section.
But yes, we did, to take effect on the 1st of April 2024.
Okay.
Thank you. All in favor?
Yes, sir.
Opposed? Motion carried. Round Hill Hall. Who would like that?
I'll take it.
Councilor Henslow, please.
I move that municipal council approve a grant to the Round Hill Hall Company in the amount of $2,400 to support the installation of a new furnace and flue system for the community hall in accordance with AM 1.4.9 Community Grants, Community Halls, and Centers Assistance Program.
Thank you. Seconded by Councilor Nunn. Thank you. Discussion. All in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Melbourne Square, Councilor Prout has declared an interest. Deputy Warden, please.
I move that the municipal council approve a grant to the Melbourne Square and Area Community Center Association in the amount of $2,400 to support the installation of a heat pump for the hall in accordance with AM 1.4.9 Community Grants, Community Halls, and Centers Assistance Program.
Thank you. Seconded by Councilor LeBlanc. Discussion. All in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you, Councilor Long. Community grants applications, Port George District Lighthouse Society. Councilor Connell.
I move that the municipal council approve a grant to Port George District Lighthouse Society in the amount of $2,500 to support seawall restoration and repair to protect the lighthouse in accordance with AM 1.4.9 Community Grants, Capital Projects Assistance Program, Small Project Matching Grants.
Thank you. Seconded by Councilor Sheridan. Discussion, please. All in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carried. Habitation Community Area Advisory Committee recommendations. Councilor Longmire, please.
I move that municipal council call a planning advisory committee PAC meeting on November 30th, 2023 at 7 p.m. at the Lower Granville Community Hall for consideration of the habitation community planning documents.
Thank you. Seconded by Councilor LeBlanc. Discussion. All in favor?
Yes.
Thank you. Scotia Bank branch closures. Councillor Hinsel, please.
Thank you. I move that Municipal Council send a letter to Scotiabank headquarters outlining the impacts on the citizens throughout the county surrounding the decision to close the Bridgetown and Annapolis Royal branches.
Thank you. Seconded by Councillor Longmire. Discussion. Councillor Connell.
I went to a meeting in Bridgetown from the credit union put on, and I think the gentleman was 100% correct. I think these big banks, they've spent years training people to do everything online, and in the back of their mind, they feel they're not going to change financial institutes. So they're not afraid to close a facility like Bridgetown. When Scotiabank was closed in Middleton, they told me we were going to Greenwood. And I said, no, I want to go to Bridgetown. Because if I'm going to spend my money, I want to support my own community. And I heard it again this morning. If people go to the Scotiabank in Greenwood and they're already at the mall in Greenwood, where do you think they're going to spend their money? Greenwood. So I hope that people do look at the choice to support and make our county grow. So, thank you.
I'll say thank you. Councillor.
I just want to add to that and say, same on both ends. If they can do this for Bridgetown and Annapolis, we won't have a Scotiabank in Annapolis County at all. And it's not just Greenwood benefited from it, but Digby will as well on the other end. And I think that we need to, corporate decisions have been made to turn that around, but we need to be a strong voice and try to keep the finances in the purchasing power in our own county.
Thank you. Councillor Gunn.
Thank you so much. I've been a Bank of Nova Scotia client since I've been a child. And as a matter of fact, years ago, I remember working for a contractor building boats, and they would keep the bank open until 6 on Friday so that we could all get there and cash our paychecks after 5 o'clock. You know, that was the Bank of Nova Scotia and the service you used to get. Obviously, through the years, we're not going to get that service anymore. I don't know how quite I'm going to deal with going to the bank. Yesterday I had a bit of an issue, and although they've got me doing a little electronic banking, I still had to go to the bank to get it straightened out. So now I'm going to have to go to Digby or Middleton. I don't know where the other bank in Greenwood, Bank of Nova Scotia, to get my things straightened out. I don't think that's right. But how are we going to fight the Bank of Nova Scotia? How are we going to fight any of these banks? Just by stop doing business with them. And it's still kind of hard. I think they're going to have their way. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Ansel.
Thank you. Of course, as everyone's aware, this has been a very interesting time for me dealing with all this. And I also attended the meeting with the credit union last week, and it was very well turned out, and it was very informal, which I found very relaxing. I've personally never been a member of the credit union, but it really opened my eyes to certain things. But at the same time, I can't push or advocate for certain banks. I'm just trying to deal with the concern that's at hand, which is the Scotiabank closures. And not only does it affect the constituents in my area, but me personally, because I recently moved to Scotiabank from RBC and moved almost everything there, and now I'm going to have to look at other options. Yes, I do online banking, so does a lot of people now, but I still do a good portion of banking in the bank. I go, we have a small business that where you're going to deposit cash, you can't take a picture of it and deposit it into your bank account. So within our district and throughout the county, we have a lot of small businesses or large businesses that deal a lot in cash. And it's going to force them to go to a different bank, or like Councillor Connell mentioned, that they're just going to make it into one big trip. And I don't want to see that happen. So I know that it's a bit of a shot in the dark to send this letter, but I think it shows that we have a voice for our citizens and that we're fighting for their rights and what they feel they need to have. And there's also a provincial fight at hand with Scotiabank, where myself and our MLA has been kind of working with the banks staying as well as the banks that are leaving to see if we can find a solution. And maybe with Scotiabank, even if they decide to continue with the closure, that maybe they have an ABM that you can still do all your banking with depositing. But I just think it's something important for us to do to show our citizens that we are there to try to help and bring their voice forward. Thank you.
Thank you. All in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carried. Now we move to 3 items. Councillor Hudson.
Did I edit?
Yes. Sorry.
Yeah, I can read that motion if you like.
Please.
That municipal council authorize the warden and municipal clerk to sign the agreement for the joint use of facilities for the RCMP within the Middleton Town Hall facility at 131 Commercial Street, Middleton, Nova Scotia, for a period of 5 years, effective June 21st, 2022, and ending on March 31st, 2027, with an option for a further 5-year renewal term in accordance with the recommendation of October 10th Committee of the Whole.
And who moves that? Councillor Gunn, seconded by Councillor Longmire. Discussion.
No. Thank you so much. With this place for the RCMP, will this also give us a place for our satellite office? No association, but thank you for answering my question.
Further discussion? All in favor? Yes. Opposed? Carried. Now we'll move to new business. Page 12. Deputy Warden, please.
I moved that Helen Huntley be appointed for an additional 2-year term ending November 30th, 2025.
Thank you. Seconded by Councillor Hudson. Discussion. Councillor Gunn.
Thank you. Is this another one of these recommendations that we just sort of stamp every year?
Yes.
Yes. The same theological and intellectual and philosophical conditions apply.
Exactly.
All right. Transfers.
Question?
Yes.
No.
You have a question?
You asked to.
All in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you. Transfer municipal pension plan to PSSP. Deputy Warden, please.
I move that the Council of the Municipality of the County of Annapolis engage the service of legal counsel that specializes in pension agreements and authorize the Warden and Municipal Clerk to enter into the required agreements for the successful transition of the municipality's defined contribution pension plan into the public service superannuation plan as soon as possible, and that the costs of this transfer are expected to be approximately $30,000 to $35,000, be funded as an unfunded liability in the 2023-24 operating budget.
Thank you. Seconded by Councillor Gunn. Discussion. Councillor Enslow, please.
Thank you. I know that we had a very lengthy discussion in the past about this, and with something like this, sometimes it's hard to go against what certain people want or feel, but at the same time, it's our job as a council or any other public office to do what we feel is best for the future of the county and the future of the employees that are here, as well as what can we do to be more attractive. So right now we're having difficulty staffing positions, not just us, but throughout the county in private industry or even provincial or federal. And the fact that having this ace in our pocket, I feel, where people can move from a provincial position or a different municipality within this pension plan, they can keep their pension and move it over, I think is a great benefit. And I know that there's some members that are concerned, but the fact that we looked at it in a case-by-case situation for those that may not be benefit of this, that are towards the end of their career, wouldn't have to be part of the plan. They could be continue off normal, but the fact that the future is what we have to really look at. And I think this is a great plan, and they're going to benefit in the future. And I think we might actually see more interest in our positions. I know that me personally, when I was going through the process of looking at transitioning from a CAP position, I wasn't even interested in going to a position that didn't have a pension plan, that only had an RRSP matching program. One, because I knew that if I couldn't take my pension, that I couldn't transfer it anywhere. So it's either going to stay or I got to cash it out and pay a penalty. The fact that this allows people to transition through, I think is a great benefit to us.
Thank you. Councillor Gunn, followed by Councillor Barton.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I had a lot of questions, and I asked our CAO at the last meeting, and he answered them all quite effectively. I'm quite pleased with this, that it's going to secure my pension plan. And actually, never having been part of one, it's a good thing, I believe. But now my question is this. It says here in the second part of the recommendation that it's going to cost $30,000 to $35,000. But if we go to the next page, page 15, it says it's going to be a cost of approximately $15,000 to $20,000. Now, is that just a typo here, or a typo there, or is there two fees here? And that's the question I'm asking. Thank you.
If you go to that, it says 15 to 20, and legal fees will be an additional cost.
Okay, so that's for the other.
Set up.
So that's the other fee. Okay, thank you.
Councillor Barton, please.
Just as a lot of items, there's always sitting on top of the fence syndrome. I have clients that also had one of my constituents called. There's a lot related to drugs that they were asking. There was a majority that they didn't want to move to this. And I don't think that we can just ignore that without some good, reason and explanation to them to console, what is going on. As far as go forward for the new pension receivers, new employees, it's probably a good thing. But the staff that have been here a long time and have a concern that they need to switch over, that they're going to lose control of how they self-manage their assets, and they're happy doing it the way they are. So we can't ignore what their thoughts are. There's on top of that, there's extra costs to change over. One thing, it could be an increase in payment, and I was told that some meetings had explained to us that this is what it is. It's forcing other staff aren't paying that rate to pay more. It's also they dangled that out there that, if there's no guarantee, because if the plan feels it needs more money, it'll pay more, which I didn't really like the sound of. So I think we need to consider all these things when we're deliberating as to what is the net gain, what is the current gain, is there a possibility that we can have a changeover once they have long service, they have the option to continue the way they are, and any new appliers or anybody that wants to change over can do so. I'm not sure that we got asked that question appropriately, or to the staff or the administrators of this program. So I could not, at this point, feel comfortable in voting on it until the information was on the floor.
Thank you. It's my recollection that the committee of the whole, everything you said was raised and was explained to the satisfaction of most by the CEO.
Not
to your satisfaction.
Not by any input from staff and not by the results. It was only discussed in-house with in-house staff.
Thank you. Councilor Sheridan.
I just want to bring up the fact that you need so many people to enter into this plan with the province, and I will be supporting this because I know how important it is, and I know there might be some misunderstandings out there of how it's working, and I can't say enough good about it. So I will definitely be supporting this.
Thank you. Councilor Longmire.
Thank you. As Councillor Sheridan just said, the misunderstanding around some of the, probably the most important details, and I don't know what all of the details are, but I'd like to think it was well explained and that all the questions that were asked were addressed. Drawing myself to page, I can see it, 14, at the bottom of 14, in the very final sentence, carrying over to page 15. The municipality now has employees who otherwise would be retired had they been with the PSSP because of poor times of poor market conditions where they lost large amounts of their savings. The PSP protects all employees against volatile market conditions and guarantees a certain retirement benefit, as opposed to individuals' investment accounts which do not. Current employees are subject to their retirement savings running out long before death, whereas the PSSP pays the retirement benefit for life. It's enormous, but this is for our employees, and our future is what we have to be focusing on as well. Thanks.
Councillor Prell, followed by Councillor Ensign.
Thank you. As someone who started work, a career as an RSP or profit sharing, whatever it was called at the time, I experienced that. A couple of careers later, I was able to have what we're looking at here. The difference is tremendous over time. It can change, and it was mentioned on an earlier item here. The change is difficult, and it is sometimes. And sometimes the unknown is very daunting. I truly believe that this program will help the younger folks who are working here, the people who may come here, and it will be something that will tend to draw them here. I believe its absence could well be a stumbling block to them coming here. And at the same time, people who are nearing retirement have a couple of years, that they can continue as they are, if they wish. And I think it's the way to go. I agree with Councillor in favor of it, and I'll leave it. Thank you.
Councillor Ainsworth. Thank you.
So I just want to touch a bit on Councillor Berto's comments. So, correct me if I'm wrong. When we had the discussion, the members that are close to retirement or at the senior level that are paying the 9% matching have the opportunity to continue doing that and not join the pension plan. That was my understanding at the meeting. So we did discuss that. So, okay, I just wanted to make sure that my statement earlier wasn't wrong. But from a personal perspective, the fact that I've always been in the pension plan has decreased different stress levels. The fact that I'm not fixated on what my RSP says. So I have small amounts of RSPs because I didn't really focus on it because I have a pension plan. Because I know that when I hit this age, I'm going to retire with X amount of money. Doesn't matter. And thankfully, it's indexed, which is the same as this plan. But I know with looking at my own small investments, it makes me worrisome every time I log in and they fluctuate up and down. I couldn't imagine being in a situation where that is my retirement fund and I look at it and it goes up and down by thousands of dollars. So just my own personal opinion that perhaps this might help with some of the stress of certain things, because we live in a stressful era. Everyone is stressed about everything, especially with inflation and even the worrisome of going grocery shopping. So the fact that you don't have to really worry about one more thing, and you know that based on where the market goes, you're not going to lose that money. And you still get to write it off on your taxes as an RRSP. So I don't know if that was explained, but it just seems like a win-win. And I know that a lot of times I feel uncomfortable when something seems too good to be true. But I don't feel that this is one of those stories because it's a proven thing. It is a government-backed thing. And this, I think some of it might have been just down to misinformation, or perhaps there was individuals that might have been swaying people's decisions. But I think that this is the right avenue to go forward. Thank you.
Further discussion?
Thank you so much. You know, I just got to recount a little story. Years ago, an acquaintance of mine put $50,000. He made a lot of money real quick. $50,000 away and with an investor, and I can tell you the name of him, but that would not go well. 6 months later, he comes back having made another $50,000 and goes to his investor and says, "I've got another $50,000 to put away in this. How much is my last $50,000 worth?" And the investor looks at me and says, "Oh, $35,000 now, but don't worry, it'll come back." I don't want to have to worry about it coming back. I'll be voting yes. Thank you.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? 1. Motion carried. Page 17. Deputy Warden.
I move that the Council of the Municipality of the County of Annapolis notify Nova Scotia Public Works that it does not wish to participate in the J-Class Road repaving of subdivision streets program in 2024-2025.
Seconded by Councillor Hudson. Discussion. Councillor Connell.
I was looking at the list that was supplied to us, and I know that if this passes, we're not going to participate. But I honestly feel the list isn't true.
I agree. We all agree.
Because a lot of these streets are already paved.
Yeah.
The gravel streets that's listed in here is minimal. And to send us a list of our streets in our county and have them gravel when they've been paved for the last 10 years is unbelievable that we got this kind of information from the province. But it's not true. And I just wanted to clarify that because there's only a few streets in our county that are not either sand sealed or already been paved. And I think some of the streets in the east end, at least one street, county split their 50% with all residents on that road. And the only reason why that one road has never been touched is because one gentleman owns most of the lots and he does not want to pay anything. So how do you say, oh, let's just get it paved? And all of a sudden the county taxpayers pay for it, but all the other subdivisions all around them, the citizens had to pay 25%. That's a policy of council. Once it's paved, I believe the policy of council is that council is 100% responsible for any upgrades. So that's why some streets are still gravel. But the list of gravel streets here is way off.
Yeah, we all agree.
Okay, where are we on? Councilor LeBlanc, Councilor Sharon, Councilor.
No, it's your.
Okay, so I just want to ask, if we're not going to participate in 2024-25, when would be the next time we are participating? Because I did do a drive around all these roads because a lot of them said gravel, and I knew they weren't gravel, but I said, I gotta really check this out. But I do have one subdivision that's over 50 years old, and it's never been repaved, and that's the Pleasant Heights subdivision. It's less than 1.5 kilometers of roadway. And I'm just wondering, if we don't participate this year, when would they have the opportunity to have that paved?
Is it paved now?
It is paved. It was paved, I don't know how many years ago, but the subdivision itself, I don't know how far into the development it was paved. But at some point it was paved, but it's over 50 years old. And that's, I have to say, those are the only, out of my whole list, that is the only issue with the roads that I have on my list.
So, Mr. Chairman, so the province asks us every year if we want to pay, and they ask us now this time of year for next year. So this time next year, next summer, they'll ask us again if we want to participate in the following year. So there's an option every year to do it. The other option is there are streets that we know that members of council want to see upgraded or paved, and so we advocate with the province to do that directly and pay 100%. So we are doing that now with some streets, and so we can add the Pleasant Heights to that list if you wish us to.
Perfect.
And so ask them. So it may still get paved, or some that may be paved next year. It'll just be 100% provincial money as opposed to 50% our money.
That's even better.
Which is better, yeah.
Right. I like that. Right. Yes. So do you need the name of the streets in that?
If you want to send it to me.
Okay.
If other councillors have other ones, I know there's one particular we've been working on for a couple of years, but if there's other streets on here, and not necessarily just these ones, because these are, we assume these are the lists we've had from the last couple of years that are J class, but there's other streets that aren't J class that you want to see upgraded, just let us know. We meet with Public Works every so often, have a discussion about their budget going forward for future years and what their plans are to be paid. And if we can advocate for some of the other ones that you want to see in your district, let us know. We can add those to the list.
Perfect. Appreciate that. Thank you.
Councilor Barfield, please.
There's this discussion from J Plus roads, but there are other roads that touch other streets or roads that say a change around the county.
Sorry, we're dealing with a motion.
I just wanted to express your mind. How do I make a vote to try to encourage developers to deal with this?
Send me an email that says, here's the particular road, or the section of a road that you think is in need of upgrading, and we'll put it on the list and have a discussion with Public Works about those. And see if it's first, we see if it's on their radar, if it's on their list. And if it is, then we'll let you know where it is on the list, if it's this year, next year, whatever it's going to be. Or if it's not on the radar, then we'll ask them to do a review and determine why it's not on the list and why it's not moving on there. So there is provincial money, but there's also local money as well. So the province allocates so much every year. And if you look on there, they have a 5-year roads list, which is more of the major roads, but they also have a lot of money for smaller roads that isn't publicly promoted, but we can still advocate to use some of that local money to redo those local roads.
Councilor Connell, please.
In some cases, if they say it's not on their radar, can you at least ask for them to put a traffic counter up to see how much traffic is using that section?
We can do that, yeah. I'm not sure if they actually use traffic counts anymore. Do they still use them? I know there's a detailed book of doing it, but I don't see them very often.
Yes, once in a while you'll see the rubber band across the road and the camera over on the side, and you'll see the guy backing up.
Is that you?
I'm just saying.
Councillor Khan, please.
Thank you so much. I'm just as pleased we're not going with this, but I look at this list and I look at all this wonderful work they did in and around Bear River. Those streets are just completely beat to pieces up there, and they went in and they fixed them all up quite nicely. Except for one, and that's in Letney Lane, Granville Ferry. I happen to own a part of that road, or one side of that road. And they say here that they paved that, and it was 769 meters. Well, I'm telling you, they're mistaken, because they stopped at North Street and never paved Letney Lane. They went from Granville Road up to the top of the hill and stopped. Total meterage, maybe 100, maybe 100. So they forgot most of that. Now, I hope they're really not taking credit for plowing or paving all that 769 meters. Anyway, I'll stop there. Thank you.
Councillor Hudson, please.
Yes, I just want some clarification. Yesterday I had a few minutes free, so I went back and looked at some previous council minutes. And in June, we passed a motion in respect to this. So that I believe the motion, and I perhaps can't read it off verbatim, but it said that the motion said that it authorized the board and then the clerk to sign the agreement, or sign the agreement. So if I'm understanding this correctly, is that we tell them, we firstly sign an agreement whether or not we want to participate, which we did, right? And this here is our opportunity just to tell them which roads or streets we want done. So is there 2 steps to this?
If I may, Mr. Chairman. Yes, there's 2 steps. Okay. So every 3 years, they send out an agreement to all the municipalities, rural municipalities, and ask if you wish to be a potentially partner or share sometime in the next 3 years. So that was the first stage, which is what we did. Okay. That's the agreement, just that we're interested. And if we hadn't signed that, they wouldn't talk to us for the next 3 years. They'd ignore us. But because we signed it, we said, yes, well, we're interested in considering it. So each year, for the 3 years, we'll get the letter here today. They say, are we interested this year? Even if we say no, they'll come back again next year and say, are you interested next year? Okay. And are you interested next year?
I just want to clarify that.
Yeah, the pot of money is very small. That's the other problem. It's only $1 million for the whole province. So municipalities put $1 million in, the province puts $1 million in. So $1 million doesn't go very far. No. And so typically, like next door neighbor, Kings County usually gets $300,000 a year. So when you take away Kings County, you take away Cape Breton County, you take away a couple other large municipalities, we're getting spoiled. So if we got approved, we might get approved for $50,000 maybe, or $70,000 at most, which isn't going to pay very much nowadays. So it's not like if you pick a road, you want to pave a whole road. Probably not going to happen. And if it does, you'll get it once every 5 years or 7 years, and you won't get any money every 6 or 7 years.
All right. All in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. We now move to a capital project update. Please.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I'm just waiting for this to move up. What's her like? Is it too many pictures? No, there's no pictures in there. You'll see the pictures coming up. Okay. So, capital update. We're about 6 months in. So, a bit of an overview. 29 projects for this year. All projects are either underway, completed, Some are just initiating, and those will be smaller studies and things like that. Total capital approved, that's give and take. Projects out, projects in, because we approved a parking lot fixed down, we approved some other things, we took some things away. It's around 3.9 when you put water and sewer and all the other stuff together. Full grants, excluding ICIP funding, is about $263,000 we were able to get. And that's our staff searching out there, mainly Amy Meyer looking for grants for us. And you can see across the bottom, PCAC, we got money for Granville Street Water Tower. For Bear River, we got $85,000 for design. Our energy assessments for the rink and for Nicktown plant and the Cornwallis plants, we received funding for that. Sports Hub accessibility, we received funding for, which is mainly our building, and you'll see nice pictures of that. We received some money for the Title II card. And at the end, the ICIP money is money that we have carried forward for our last number of years for Church Street and Hillside. And we'll update you on those projects as well. Okay, so first is building renovations. And there. This will work. Highlighting. Where you see all the blue, those are supposed to be pictures coming forward. Oh, really? Okay. I'm going back to the old mode. Sorry, folks.
If you were
the bigger end of slide.
You got one link. Click the link. And then control it.
Yeah, the link.
Click control. Click. Big size.
It's just adding and keep adding slides. That's what I mean.
Make it bigger and let Ben do it.
I can't take it over, then I'll just talk.
Just stand.
No.
Go ahead. See if you can pull it up there.
Works well in your own machine. Yeah, look at that.
Well, while we're waiting, can I ask a generic question?
Please.
So I noticed through looking through the list last night and then today with an updated list, there's quite a few projects that came in below budget, which I'm not going to complain about whatsoever. However, I just have a question about how did we come up with the estimate numbers? And are we using RFIs or are we just...
I don't see.
It's not paying attention.
Go ahead, sir.
How did we come up with the budget?
How did we come up? So I noticed that we're below budget. Perfect. A lot of projects. But from my experience, when I look at that, we either extremely or picking numbers out of the air, or an RFP come back or an RFI come back too high. I just want to know why there's such a discrepancy. Like I can understand on some of them, like the equipment that we purchased. That's surprising, but we probably got a deal of some sort. But on the bigger projects, I just want to know how we come up with our estimate numbers.
Oh, okay. So, for example, the Bridgetown Fire Hall. We anticipated there might be some contamination issues there, and we didn't find it.
Okay.
As a result, we got into one contamination on Church Street. It cost us $110,000. So it would have been over, but we would have found something.
Okay.
So you look at the project, you come up with the best estimate based on construction costs, period costs, pipe creases have been all over the place in terms of installation of water and sewer pipe.
Yeah.
Where between one tender and another tender, there's $1,000 per meter in the difference.
Okay.
So it's hard to estimate those. We're saving money on some projects because we broke one up rather than, for example, the facility at Sports Hub.
Okay.
People were able to apply individually as one company do the whole thing, or as an individual, as an electrician, a plumber, and a carpenter. It turned out the electrician, plumber, and carpenter applications were about $80,000 lower than the guy who wanted to do it all himself.
Okay.
All local people.
Okay.
So we saved a lot of money. We project managed it and stuff like that. So there's different ways of doing it, but generally we like to be as close as we can to budget. We just don't like coming back to ask for more money because the project's over budget.
No, for sure. It's just working from a different government level where sometimes when they come up with some of the numbers, they inflate it to make the project bigger than what is needed and then use that money for something else. So I just wanted to clarify how we did it. So
There's no money being used for other projects. If the project comes out of the budget, it just means we don't borrow extra money for it. We don't take the money out of the capital reserve or the reserves, the operating reserve.
No, and my only question was just around how we come up with our estimates and do we use the extra calculators and different things, or we just pluck in numbers out?
We know what the cost of construction is. We know what the road construction costs are. Like if there's to do a road construction, we spent $340,000, and we did basically 0.34 kilometers of road in Cornwallis Park, and that was just repacked. If you had to rebuild the road, it's quite expensive.
No, I'm just happy to see that we save money.
So I'm going to keep going here to finally get my computer, which we've been sharing around the office. I'll run it through a shared network, and the system seems to work everywhere. I guess we'll have to remember to bring our own computers next time. So the parking lot in Annapolis Royal, right here. Took a while to get that done. Tree's gone.
Good luck. Call a tree down. I wouldn't want to hire someone to cut logs for me.
Sorry.
Could we call the entrance way part of the parking lot?
100%. It'll be taken care of. Just to that point, the patching crew, they have done some work in Bridgetown, and it looks pretty good. They're going to be doing some more for the end of this week, and this entry road is part of the patching work.
But we still have that crater on Church Street.
Did I say I was done?
No, I'm just saying, you said some, so I just don't want Church Street to get forgotten, that's all.
Yeah, no, don't worry. I've had numerous calls on that.
So is that our own crew?
Our own staff. With the equipment you guys allowed us to purchase. So the roller, the tack sprayer, and we're doing our own thing.
What are you doing for asphalt?
We're just buying it. Cheapest price we can find.
So where in Bridgetown did you buy?
A couple of side streets. What's that?
Let go try these speed bumps.
They're not speed bumps.
Okay.
There are a few that are really good.
This isn't one.
Then you should have a computer and log in first as well.
Did you try to restart?
What is the sound of your computer hitting your window?
I don't know, but
It's called satisfaction. It's what it's called.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea.
Maybe a break.
Okay.
Taking a break, okay.
Don't leave the premises.
I'm sorry that whatever we put on here blew up the machine. So we're going to have to do it verbally now and follow along. And I apologize because I should have given you individual sheets for each slide now because we don't have the big screens to reference. So Annapolis building renovation, what I was going to show you is the existing of what we have and what we're going to in the future. And basically the existing is outside of Chris's office. Those two hallways, those walls are all coming out. And we're going to put a series of 5 cubicles in there, put the same flooring that we have downstairs down, put a new roof ceiling in, new lights, etc. The other major renovation is off the main foyer. When you come in, we will have an accessible washroom built, and which takes quite a bit because now we have to reinforce that whole section because that's a bearing wall, so we have H-beams going in, etc. to support that wall. And those are the 2 main renovation pieces to be done. Coupled with that was the roof. The roof tender is closed. We have a price for that. That's on your sheet. And so we have about, I don't know, a little over 300-something thousand to do those renovations. And included in that is also moving away from pneumatic controls for heat. We're putting electronic controllers in for the heat. So hopefully we'll have better control of the heat throughout the building as we go forward.
Does that include chambers?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Actually,
I just want to double check.
No, electronic actually. You can't control it without that. Okay, so HR parking lot here, yes. Capital moving forward, we agreed that would settle for a year, and then we go forward and look at paving the whole parking lot in here. And that's what we move forward with. IT, capital hardware, that's just the purchasing of computers for everything here. And obviously, we're going to have a new capital for next year that will include redoing council chambers and making it maybe wireless or something that can take whatever we have. Village of Lawrencetown, we're all aware of that. That happened very early on after the capital budget was approved. They requested their $30,000 that was sent. The parking lot in Bridgetown, asphalt is down, lines are painted, concrete will be done this week. And that brings that to close. Yes.
Good.
Yes. Could I ask what the contract price was for the tender? For that project, what it was?
Well, I think it's right there, 142 for the asphalt and concrete and painting. So 142, and not just that, for repairs to the curb, because the previous curb that was put in under a previous contract did not align with accessibility requirements. They forgot to measure the width of the parking spaces to go along with the entrance. So we had to remove that section of curb and put in another section on both sides and do a little repair. Yeah.
I might be wrong here, but I heard, and maybe hearsay is something you shouldn't bank too much on, but I heard that the tender for the paving included the paving at the parking lot plus the paving at the sports hub.
You heard it correctly.
I heard it incorrectly? Okay, I just wanted to clarify.
Yeah, that's incorrect. So Bridgetown Fire Hall, as we talked about earlier, building's level. I was going to show you a picture of that, Don.
Oh, it's nice.
And you're going to look at it and you're going to say, there it is.
It's
I noticed the bricks from that for sale on Marketplace.
Yeah, and now I won't go any further with that one.
No.
There's a Paul Harvey version for that. There's another end to that story. But we're not involved with it. Next one, the road rehabilitation program, which took place this year in Cornwallis Park. We paved mainly around Atlantic Sea Plants. They were very pleased with the work and thanked us for taking that into consideration to help with their expansion. So that's completed. Bridge rehabilitation, you can see some work getting done. Bill comes from Highways to pay for our share of that. Yes?
Do we have an expected completion date for that, though?
They hire the contractor.
I didn't know if they gave us a briefing or would it be sale is going to be done. Okay.
Very little.
Okay.
And I'll tell you about a story right at the very end of the project that,
Okay.
The lift station capital, that's ongoing, that's underway. That money will be fully exhausted. I had nice pictures of the Cornwallis Park treatment plant. It looks brand new. When you're outside it and you're looking at it, all the work we did with the catwalks, the blasting of the tank, inside and out, repainting and everything, it should be able to last a long time. So protected for the future. Nick Todd drone screen. I'm just trying to think, when we did the tour last year, was the drone screen set up?
No, there was something
Sitting there.
Okay, so now it's fully operational, all good to go. new control panels and everything. That's all part of that. This next project was the bottom of Queen Street. We are cammering that to see if we even need to spend the money, because the water is going through there. It's just, we suspect there's some blockage in there somewhere. So our guys are doing the camera, we have our own camera. We're going to do the camera and see where it is. And if we don't have to spend the $200,000, we don't spend the $200,000.
Great.
SCADA, ongoing, that'll be exhausted. Emergency generators, I'm going to show you a couple pictures of generators that are sitting, waiting to be installed. And the automatic transfer switches. I can't hook up, well, we can't hook up, yes. We have the two generators for both lift stations, Cornwallis Park. We don't have a generator for the treatment plant itself. So there's no point in turning on emergency switches for the lift stations if the treatment plant's not working. That's the reason for the big storage capacities that we have there and stuff like that. So we hope they get moving on that. A lot of study, Bridgetown, Granville Street upgrades. The first viewscape they sent me, I thought it was driving through. Remember that plane you saw there with the big wheel on it? Yeah. I thought that's where I was. With the viewscape they showed me of the new street in Bridgetown, of Granville Street. And I'm going, boys, what do you estimate this to? Oh, 50 million maybe? And I'm going, go back. Basic.
So we got back to 33%? Yeah. Or
what do you mean?
So
No, this was just their first visual, conceptual scan, and I said, you're way off here. No.
Yeah.
You know, anyway, they're working on some revised planning. We've begun work on the East End study. They're doing a lot of research. They hope to have a meeting with the committee in the very near future to talk about where they are. Bridgetown treatment plant, I think they met with our folks the other day to review the existing systems and everything. They're going to do an assessment, give us a recommendation on how to proceed with upgrading that facility. Compost bins, that's ongoing. Every time Valley Waste replaces bins, they send us an invoice and we pay for the bins. And those are in circulation now. The reclamation plan is underway. The implementation of that plan is underway. So, yeah, that's proceeding. Bridgetown Arena assessment, I talked about that at the very beginning. This is part of the energy assessment for the arena, for NICTOF, for Cornwallis treatment plants. And the phase 2 of this, we want this stuff done because there'll be a phase 2 request for support coming out to help fund the renovations, the upgrade of the energy efficiency stuff. When we're hoping to have this work done so we make the applications. Yep.
Do you know when we'll potentially get a chance to look at the report on the Bridgetown Arena?
Yeah, it's not online yet.
I didn't see it.
Okay.
I might have been looking at the wrong place.
Okay. No, we'll look into that. You don't mind. Sure, thank you. Yes?
Yes, I'd like to just back up to the top of that page. I know there was a lot of work done at Jubilee Park, and I was wondering where that shows there or doesn't.
Jubilee Park is right below. I'm on page 2 now. So Jubilee Park is right below the Bridgetown assessment.
Right there.
So the only thing not completed in Jubilee Park is we're purchasing a lift, an external lift ourselves.
What's that for?
For accessibility to the state.
Accessibility to the state, we're going to buy an elevator for that.
No, it's a small external lift where somebody wheels a wheelchair in, they press the button, it goes up, open the gate, and they go out. All open, exposed.
Awesome.
So are we anticipating that would eat up the rest of that budget, or there would be a surplus to that?
Based on what I've been advised, it'll eat a lot of that.
Okay.
We're going to do the work ourselves. We're going to do the installation ourselves. We're going to do the electric ourselves.
Is that going to cause any issue with warranty?
No, not as long as the slab is as per their spec and everything else.
Okay.
Yep. These are typical what you see outside people's homes.
Well, yeah, there's one in Kingston. Yeah. Thanks.
Sports Hub capital improvement. I really needed a photo for this, but I don't have it. It's there. Come down to my house, I can show it to you. But I think they did a great job. The concrete work is done. They gravelled off the backside with stone, so it fits into the French drain around the tennis courts. So there's no plugging off of any French drains or anything. The asphalt work is, Jordan's meeting with them this morning to review the asphalt that needs to be done there. And the entry to the sidewalk, there's a ramp. And most people probably didn't see that. They see the cones. The cones are over a handrail that's going to go in there. So they come off the parking lot, go up the ramp, and they have full accessible around the whole building. So the only one like it, probably down this way in Nova Scotia. Yes?
Yes, with the sports hub, I recall a budget being approved by council of $200,000. And here it says a total budget of $263. And I was just wondering why that extra was approved.
There's an original budget of
400, yeah.
Well, no, there was 400 approved for a building. Yes. Then this project was a separate project. And the budget was increased. I can get you the numbers, but these are the numbers. It's not like we're... No. Yeah, no, I do recall the 263. Yeah, that's been there for a while. So it must have been the addition of the phase 2, where we put phase 2 money in it. If you remember at the beginning, we got accessibility money of $72,000 onto the original money, which was around 186, 100 something thousand. But I can get you those, Councillor, I can send you those numbers.
Okay.
Cornwallis Beach Park, all completed, but we're going to be expanding that next year because a lot of the people that come into the park, there's not enough parking, so they park in front of where our lift station is. And we had a failure, not a failure, but an outage at the lift station. We had to go down and service it. We couldn't get at it with our equipment because there's vehicles parked all the way around. So Annapolis Basin has allowed us to put a gate up there. Yes.
When we went down there last year, look at that. You had a place to the left-hand side there.
Yeah.
And I forget his name, the guy that all cleared off. Is that where the parking's going to be, is over there?
Yeah, it's going to be further over.
Right away from the lift station.
Yeah, I haven't talked to Deb about it, but it'll be further away from the lift station because we're looking at putting a gate up so you can't even drive into that area. Because right now, we found a few vehicles parking on top of our concrete slab, which is our storage tank. If somebody goes through that, that's a liability issue for us. So we have to keep them right over there. Upper Cummins Trails, that money's all spent. Upper Cummins Stonehouse, we had budget $35,000, only 21 was spent, so that money's remaining. Mini excavator is going to show you a picture. We were able to save money. The compact roller, we didn't go with a sit-down roller. We went with one that's more conventional for driving into a trench when we're doing trenching work and things like that. So stand behind, vibratory, so we're not having any workers fall off the roller or anything like that, you know. And then the hot tire machine, we were looking at a budget there, to be fair, of pulling a trailer with a hot
okay, so I was wondering if we
on it and stuff. And then we said, I was just talking to another guy, and he said, well, you know, if you guys are just spraying, why don't you just go with a drum top?
Yeah.
Basically, spray, you need to put it into a drum and use that to start and see how that goes. And then I talked to Rod Taylor with Highways, and he said that's what they use. You know, they've gone with that because it's just not as expensive, and it wasn't. There's the price of it. Yeah. And the guys are getting the hang of it, which is great. Water capital is ongoing. We purchase things as we go. We're going to do some more work in Margarettsville as well, which is the winter comes, we can get in there and do some more cleaning and clean up. Leak detection equipment, I could have shown you the piece of equipment that fits in a box. There you go, we spent $35,000 on that, but that's what it's not. I talked to you last week about the water studies that were done, and Granville Storage System is underway. So we can get ready. So 5 projects carried forward from previous years, and some of these have been on the books for a very long time. We recently closed a tender, 2 bidders for Mountains and Meadows, Church Street, $923,000, ICIP funding $500,000. We're also looking at a realignment there to kick it off, moving it across the road onto our property, which is Mountains and Meadows property, to take it off the asphalt up the side to try to save some more money, to see if we can reduce costs. I think the original budget was around $680,000 to $700,000 for that project. So pretty pleased with this. We're just negotiating right now on schedule. Now, to be fair, the facility is not going to be in operation for another 2 years minimum or longer before it opens. So as long as ICIP holds the money, the price doesn't change, or we can reduce it further. I don't know how much of a push there is unless there's people along the road that have problems that need to be connected. I just like to get projects done. We're not carrying them over. Finish it. Bear River. We got PCAP funding for that, for our design, $85,000, plus we had $50,000 in the budget to start with. So we're working away at that. We hope to be able to tender within the next couple of weeks with the pipework design. So that would take it from the Annapolis side all the way up through to the pump house. The pump house will be where the existing pump house is. We drilled one well there, and it was basically dry. And no, but then we got a phone call. When people find out you're in the area, we got a phone call from the fairgrounds in Digby. And the guy said, we have a well there. We have 2 wells. And we're waiting for the test reports, but the initial test was, between 15 and 20 gallons a minute, which is almost over double what they have existing right now in the Bear River system. And they have no problem with us working with them to connect that into our system.
Can I ask?
Sure.
Thank you so much. The well, the 400-foot well that you drilled that was dry.
Yep.
That wasn't at the well fields up where the hills.
No, it was down along the entry road. Along the entry road where, I'm trying to think of Catherine's last name. She's got the house right beside the road that goes in there.
Sure, yeah.
Where she's got the little pond. Just down below where that pond entry is, based on the hydrogeologist's recommendations, this is a good spot to try to see if there was water there. And we tried. Didn't get a lot.
Because if it was in the well field, that's about there.
Yeah.
I know the Department of Highways has a hard time in the winter because all the water that's just spewing out of the ground there is coming down.
You're right. There's artesian, like even the second well that they use is basically artesian, where you can go up there anytime and the water's bubbling out of it.
Yeah.
But when you pump tested that well, we could only get over the recovery period and on an ongoing basis, when you're running the well 24 hours a day, 24/7, you're only going to get 2 to 3 gallons a minute out of that well. So it's all near surface water that's bubbling out of that. Which these other wells are a lot more enticing, so that's the reason for getting going on the pipe work, get the pipe in the ground, get the control system put in place, probably tender this winter, and have them under construction in the spring. Okay. What else? Next, Hillside's out to tender for the second time. And we went with smaller pipe, a little bit different alignment, hoping we get a better price. We had 5 different companies pick up plans. Last time we only had 1. The only company that picked up a set of plans is the company that bid it. And it was way over. Now, that said company is working already, I think, in Mountains and Meadows, so maybe we might get a meeting in their parking lot on the site, doing their site work for the Mountains and Meadows facility. So maybe they're interested in doing more work in the area. I don't know. But we have some other local guys that have been doing our work. Yeah. Pick up plans, and hopefully we get some good bids.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Thank you. So with this Hillside Drive, the keel, that upgrade there, has there been any talk of citizens getting that to go further, that water line? Because I know a lot of people up that way that would just love to have water up by their...
I think what we'll do is, because this money of the 290,000 plus a contribution, if it comes in at 700,000-800,000, we can't expect people to be paying 25,000. So we'll come back with a plan on how we would address that. And absolutely right. Carry on and go forward because Alton Hubbley's calling, people further around, and also look right around the Cape Road to make a loop, to finish off that area. So the next project was completed. That had been on the books a long time. Nice drainage system there. We'll hope to show you a plan. I don't know if the councillors in Bridgetown have seen that, but the contractor did a great job. And the homeowner and the people couldn't be happier.
A1.
Gravel.
Save the fish.
What's that?
Save the fish.
Well, my fear is, now that they've seen this, everybody down the way where we have an easement is going to want this all cleaned up. It does. It does. Yeah.
And it works.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. The citizen is more than pleased.
Yeah, and then we had another neighbor further up the road, further up the stream. The two streams come together kind of where his property starts. Yeah. We don't have any easements up there. It's not our property. They wanted the same thing done further up. So it's not ours. They weren't happy. The last project that I wanted to show you about a carryover was the Granville Water Tower, the Granville Water Tower access road. And we've been trying to work with D&D for a number of years to try to get this done. They didn't want us going through the rifle range all the time to access their facility. So finally, I just said earlier this spring that we had a new base commander. Phoned the new base commander's office. He wasn't available to speak, but his right-hand person called me back. We had a discussion. She said, I'll get back to you. She got back to me and said, we will put the road in. All expenses paid.
Nice.
She said, you've been waiting long enough for this.
Now, if I can enter into this conversation a second. I'm in Granville Ferry every day. And I want you to bear in mind there are trucks that have been going along and up in there. They pumped some money into building this road because those double 2 truck longs, big trailer, nonstop going up there. They put some kind of road and I just can't wait to see what it's like.
It's all Class A.
It's going to be a good one.
It's Class A gravel. They'll get us up to the site, get us to do any work we want. And I think, Mitra, are they putting a new gate in front?
Yes.
And they're putting a new gate for us in front to lock it off so people can't. So what's next after this? That was a summary of the projects. We have the admin building closing on the 23rd. We have Hillside closing on the 28th. We're hoping to have Bear River out to tender in the next couple of weeks. The energy grant work is underway for the arena and the water. The second phase of the grant program, once approved, will allow us to undertake the funding. So at that point, maybe I need to have a discussion about the rink, because if one of the big pushes I'm supporting for the rink is converting to our ammonia system to a CO2 system, so it becomes very user-friendly for all staff working in the area, and we're not dealing with ammonia, which is a huge GHG gas at least, so we don't have to deal with that. And in doing that, we would have to replace the floor in the rink, because it's uneven and it's cracked, and the pipes underneath would have to be replaced because you're running at different pressures with different gas. Well, we'll see what the program will cover. And that's basically it. And our message is we're just trying to get as many projects as we can ready, so that in study and in design form, so when funding requests call, we have projects ready.
Yes, I had a question with the rink. Within that assessment, was there any talk about the possibility of solar?
That'll be all
facing. Okay.
That'll be all taken into account.
Thanks.
Want to make sure the roof can support it. Yes.
Under what's next, you say administration bill tender closes November 23rd. Is that only for part of the work?
No, the roof is already closed. What I said earlier, it's just for the internal components closed.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, don't get me wrong. we're trying to work with the building that we have.
Okay.
And I'm knocking out a wall. I'd like to knock out other piers and stuff to give you guys more space, but that's a discussion for another day.
Any other comments? Okay, Councillor Longmire, followed by Councillor Connor.
Thanks, just one quick comment. I wanted to go back to accessibility. I can't see this. Sorry.
Are you on the very first page, Lynn?
No, I'm on the second page, but it's just a really sweet comment I want to make. Oh my gosh. The Cornwallis Beach at a park. As you said, they were parking on top of things that the liability and parking was over by
the
lift station.
Yes.
That's a wonderful thing to hear that there's that much activity down there. So this is supporting these wonderful open spaces. I just want to say kudos to Deborah and the team and Atlas down things. But I can't read this.
No, I apologize. I wasn't expecting you. LASIK surgery.
You said about the solar system, you automatically voted up that if the roof will hold.
No, I just.
No, I mean.
That assessment would have to be done.
And it can it be hooked to the small solar field, is there not landed behind it?
Not really. We go from there's not much room in behind the building. We don't really own, where we park right now, where a lot of people park, that's the reason for tearing down the old fire hall, is not on our property. They parked on the Legion's property there. Besides the rink, we don't own much land beside the rink. Our parking is actually behind the rink, and then where people park on the street and everything. So now they have a place to park across the street. But you're right. Somebody asked about the ball field. We're going to upgrade the ball field. And I said, well, how many people play ball this year? How much do we invest? Or do we focus one spot in the county on baseball? So if we want a baseball team and stuff like that, where do we focus it?
Bishop Park.
Mount Rose.
I'm sure there's 11 different spots to focus.
Just to clarify Councillor Connell's spot, Ms. Ben can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the NPS, I think the public doesn't want solar fields in urban areas. And so I think that would never be allowed in any urban areas within Annapolis County, any solar fields, because the public didn't want it, I don't think. Is that correct?
In the countywide plan?
That was on the first time.
Or the Bridgetown plan? Not there, okay. But I know some of the plans, they don't want solar fields anywhere, so just be careful that we talk about we want solar fields and our plans and our public don't want them anywhere. They don't like
the habitation plan.
So there's a few of them like that, though, I think that want them banned. So we want to be energy efficient, we want to be more environmentally friendly, but we sometimes don't want it in our backyard. We want it somewhere else down the road, which they don't want That's why the wind turbines aren't in where the people that own them isn't in their backyard. They're all over to West Hanson, don't own them.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you. Just to add to those comments about the solar panels, 2 years ago or so, the Bridgetown Community Recreation Association got in touch with a contractor that came in and did an assessment for putting solar panels on the roof of the arena. I'm going from memory, but they told the BCRA that the roof was more than adequate in terms of supporting the panels. And I think you could put something like 200 panels on that roof if you wanted, which is a lot, right? So this was done, I think maybe Jim had something.
It was 3 or 4 years, a couple years ago, on both solar panels. It was 3 or 4 years ago. Just before COVID.
Steve Clayton.
Oh, Steve was looking at it. Yeah, just before COVID. Yeah. So that'll be back.
Okay, we'll move on, if that's okay. Councillor Hudson.
Yes. I don't know if there should be a motion or what, but anyway, to err on the safety side, I'll make it a motion. I would make a motion that council direct the municipal staff to prepare basically an insert, okay?
Sorry.
An insert or something in the Bridgetown Reader to update the citizens of Bridgetown on what has transpiring in relation to the old school. We here know what has happened, right? And maybe there are a few of the residents that perhaps know as well. But it's not known broadly. And I think, we should make that some broad statement or put some information out there in some broad form so that all citizens are aware of what has transpired there. I mean, the issue...
all this is not wording the motion.
No. All I just wanted, the motion is just to put something in the reader to update the citizens
That's what's happening.
on the old school.
So if I may, Mr. Chairman, so council passed a motion to sell the school. Council made a motion previously to sell the school.
Yep.
We had to go through a trust problem. We corrected that. It's gone through the court. And we sold the school.
Yeah.
Which is a normal process. I'm trying to understand what you're trying to educate the public about. It's the normal. Plus, we do it for everything. We don't put special inserts in newspapers or whatever to tell us that the deal's been done.
No, I guess what I'm saying is that I believe the majority of the residents of Bridgetown do not know the results of the court decision. They don't know. Again, the majority do not know that the sale has been complete. They know that, there was an offer made, but they do not know the sale is complete. I think things like that, it should be brought forward so that the residents are aware. It's just that's all. I think that we need to do something to make the citizens of Bridgetown aware of what has gone down in respect to the whole school.
So the motion is to explain the situation with the Bridgetown Elementary School to the citizens of Bridgetown? Is that basically the motion?
I just think the community needs to know.
Make the motion. Make the motion then.
Could we have the wording of the motion, please?
This is what I captured.
Yeah.
The municipal council directs staff to prepare an insert for the Bridgetown Reader to update the citizens of Bridgetown on what has transpired in relation to the former elementary school.
Why does it have to be an insert?
I'm sorry?
Why does it have to be an insert? Can't it be on a normal page of the reader? No, just we have to figure out what we want to do. And I remember 11 years ago, a counselor said something, and the CAO at the time said, but that wasn't the motion. And the counselor said, well, you should have known what I meant.
I guess the word insert is just the word that came to my mind.
Notice.
An ad, okay, or a notice.
Or a media release. Yeah, just write a media release.
That's what I want to suggest when you get to that point.
Anyway, sorry, can you start again, Carolyn, please?
The municipal council directs staff to prepare an ad for the Bridgetown Reader to update the citizens of Bridgetown on what has transpired in relation to the former elementary school.
Hold on. Is that okay with you?
That's correct.
Thank you. Do we have a seconder for the motion, Councillor Khan? Discussion, please, Councillor Ansel.
Thank you. So I do agree. I'm all about putting out information, but I do feel that I would like to make an amendment to the motion to just put a media release through normal channels and not just the Bridgetown Reader.
I don't know how best was right to do the amendment. Just to do a public.
You want to amend the motion to negate the motion.
Yeah.
Affirmative. Yeah.
So you don't.
I just want
You can't amend the motion.
I'd like to amend the motion to send a notice out by media release, and not the Bridgetown Reader.
However, the main intent of the motion is something in the reader.
Yes.
You put it
Oh,
in-
sorry, yes, sorry, my
You don't
bad.
want
my bad.
something in
Sorry.
the reader.
You can't do it.
Yeah, my bad, sorry. Didn't hear that.
Now, is council going to do this with everything we do?
So to finish my thought with
All right,
that
okay.
is, no, I don't think that we should be doing it all the time, but this situation was a very sensitive and heated debate within our community. And I have heard through various people within my district, and when they ask, I answer the question. But not everyone comes up to me to ask the question, and they just want to feel the closure of it. Say, yep, it's done, it's sold. I can't go out and reach the 13 or 1,400 people that are in my district. But I think just for this situation where it was such a heated debate and a long process, maybe there should be that closure. And I have heard it at multiple things, including at the Chamber of Commerce meetings and so on, that maybe we should for this situation.
Okay, where are we? Councillor Sheridan.
So was there for sale sign on the property? Because it would have a sold sign on it. That was just where I was going back. So, because there's one on the Lawrencetown building, so I assumed it might have been.
Okay, Deputy Warden, please.
The general sort of question on this, I don't think we should do it. I think we should, council shouldn't. I think we should be sending out notifications every time we wrap up a nice big project. And we should be talking about when we finish things as well as when we start things. The residents know what's going on. It's just part of the communication, right? Dustin wants me to go make a cake for him. Well, I should tell him when I'm done the cake and not just wait for him to show up and go, where's that cake you baked? No, I finished it 2 weeks ago. You know, it's all stale there now and a little different color. We should tell people when we finish it. It's just good communication.
I agree with the comments of both Deputy Warden and Councillor Hensel, and I think it's something that maybe this is a special case. But I attended a meeting of the Lions last Wednesday evening, and they held a meeting to get community feedback on a project that they want to undertake. That's either a playground project or a splash pad project. And a good portion of that meeting had questions regarding the old school. So there is a large number of people that want information, and like you say, to finally end it all, we need to get that information.
Okay. Councillor Longmire.
Thank you. So going back to the Deputy Warden's comment about the cake, that it was made, and that it would be important to know when it was made, so that not 2 weeks later, because that cake would no longer be edible. So I would like to say that I feel there is that sensitive piece to this sale. It is sad in the community for a very long time, and we were as a county anxious to see it sold, and it does apparently to the buyer reflect housing. And so that's another exciting thing about this sale. So I know as you drive by there and you see it still sitting vacant, and if there wasn't a sign on it that could be then posted sold, I would be wondering, where do we stand? And so, you know, I know we probably can't do it for everything that happens, but maybe we should do, like the deputy warden said, an update on the great things that are happening. Because it does tend to take away the other anxieties that some can feel. So,
I had a project in my district, of which every person in my district does not have knowledge of the exact situation. And this is what happened. Further discussion. All in favor? Sorry.
Can I just ask? There was no amendment, right? Because there was no second draw.
No, there's no amendment.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Opposed? 1, 2.
She voted yes. That was after you.
All right. All in favor?
Let's think about it.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Against? 1. Motion is carried. Now, we have to establish a committee that would go around and knock on doors of the businesses in Bridgetown and say, did you read the reader? Anyway, Councilor Gunn, please.
Thank you. So I thought that we would like, I know I would like, but I don't know about this card here. What I'd like to discuss is DUARB decision. Right? I'd like us to discuss that. Now, I know most of you voted against, you know, any change, but you know, the citizens
I wasn't here.
Council, the citizens of our council, of our county, have come back and said, oh no, we should be paying attention to that. So, I would like us to discuss that, where I'd like the discussion to start. I personally think that we should have had got a lawyer involved. You can touch your face all you want, but the long and the short of it is the question of legal is to determine or not which course of action we didn't take, what we should implement, and not to determine what specific actions we did wrong. Why did we go through this big expense of asking the
Excuse me. Are you talking about the UARB decision, or are you talking about the process that led up to the council agreed submission to UARB? Which one is the subject of your discussion?
My discussion is on where did we go wrong as a municipality in the questions that we were asking the public and the information we were gaining from the public, not the decision of the UARB. That's a sanctitude judge that, you know, he's got a job to do. He's a very learned man, and his decision is founded on the information he was given. Where did we go wrong? I don't want us to go through this all again in whatever. Is it going to be 6 months? Is it going to be 2 years from now? Is it going to be next council? Or are we just going to drop that onto them? Or are we going to deal with the mess we created? Now, my question here is, what would a lawyer give us for information?
Okay. You've had quite some leeway to speak. Would you like to make a motion?
I would move that we get somebody in municipal law, a lawyer in municipal, versed in municipal law, because we need that, to explain to us where we went wrong on our application to the UARB. Unless you can tell me.
Is there a second?
I'd like to second it, though.
You'd like a what?
I'd like to second it just to get so we can actually talk about it.
CAO?
If I may, I guess the motion is what went wrong. I don't think anything went wrong.
Oh, no.
So I guess the wording of the motion is confusing a little bit. So at the end of the day, council has a decision whether you want to go mayor or ward. URB has no jurisdiction. It's a council decision. So whether you didn't go wrong one way or the other, just a majority vote. That's great. That's the decision. And then the decision came about the boundaries, how many elected officials you want to have. The council had multiple discussions about that. You made a proposal to the UARB. The UARB approved it. They didn't come back and say you did it wrong or you messed up. They just said a few residents thought you should have consulted them. And so the URB, under tight time frame, if we had applied a year ago, they probably would have said, go back and redo it, or change it. But they didn't because the time has run out. And so if council wants to change it now, it's essentially too late because you can't. If you want to change it now, you'd have to complete a whole new application, resubmit it to the URB. That'll take 6 months, 9 months. The time's gone past. You can't do it.
Yeah.
So I don't think anything's gone wrong. So if you want to hire a lawyer, they're going to tell you you didn't do anything wrong. But council made a decision that you didn't want a mayor, you wanted a warden, and you wanted 11 seats, and the URB approved it. So nothing's gone wrong, but if the public didn't like the process, that's a different question. That's not a legal question. If the URB disagreed, they would have given you a different ruling. I think they were under pressure though to get it done quickly and recognizing if they had to go back and say, no, you need to change it, that there wouldn't have been enough time to do it.
So I think the only reason I wanted to second it was to put my 2 cents in the fact that I don't think that we should even be, I don't understand why we would need a legal opinion for someone to tell us that we should just do a lessons learned on if people have feedback that their voices weren't heard. And that's an internal thing to the county saying, okay, what can we do better to make the voices and not hire a lawyer to say, well, this isn't a legality issue. You've done the steps. It's just an internal thing. Do I agree that there was things that we could have done differently to get better engagement? Oh, of course, there always is. But to get a lawyer involved, I don't understand why we would waste money with that. But I don't know how to properly talk about it without a second. But I'm still new to the whole thing. So.
Right. Deputy Warden, my recollection is the UARB explicitly said, because the public doesn't trust council. Trust, I believe, was the word used there. And I am not nearly wise enough to sort of foray into why the public does not trust council's department. And I think we could probably write several PhD dissertations on it if we really wanted to get into it. So I think it's probably very important to have a discussion about what we're going to go back and do when the time comes, and it might be a good thing for a staff report or suggestions or something like that. But yeah, I think the lawyer's not the equivalent to respect.
Councilor Gunn? Thank you so much. The CAO answered my question, where that I would have asked a lawyer to explain to us. And actually, quite profound, he says it's council's decision whether we go with the mayor or a. I had no recollection of us ever hearing that, or even knowing that it was council's decision whether to go with a mayor or a warden. I didn't know that. I mean, I'm not, it's not that I don't read, I do, but I did not know that one, that it's entirely council's decision, and I didn't read that in his summation, or didn't get that from the judge's summation. So, whether we need a lawyer to do it, I would say not. But I certainly made the motion. I want us to talk about it. And where will we go with this? Are we just going to leave this to the next council?
We have to know what we're talking about.
Yes, we do.
And we are talking about engaging a lawyer. Is there any further discussion on the motion?
Do you want to withdraw?
Wait, please. Is there any further discussion on the motion?
I'll withdraw the motion.
Thank you. Now we're into councillor comments. I assume you'll just keep going? Yep. Yes. Okay, District 1, please.
Thank you. Greetings from District 1. It's been another busy time over the past 4 weeks. I've attended a number of meetings and events. Outside of District 1, I attended the sod turning for the new Mountain Lodge. I was honored to lay a wreath on behalf of the county at the Middleton Legion Remembrance Day service held at the Middleton, Nova Scotia Community College campus, and I was pleased to attend, along with a number of other counselors and staff, the Middleton Fire Department Awards banquet this past weekend. Closer to home, I took in the monthly meeting of the Wilmot and Area Neighborhood Watch and was pleased to also be present at a meeting of the Melbourne Square and Area Community Center Association, where a plaque was presented to Terry Wilkins in memory of his wife, the former councillor for District 1, Marilyn Wilkins, to honor her along with other community volunteers for their efforts on behalf of the community. And that plaque is going to be placed in the hall in a prominent spot, as it should be. With the changing of the seasons, Auntie Dorn's Takeout is now closed. However, Greenleaf Enterprises has opened its Christmas shop with extended hours for the holiday season. In addition, and Councillor Sheridan jumped ahead of me at the last time as he gave news of one of these, but I will say that a number of local service clubs, churches, and community halls are beginning to hold Christmas teas and craft fairs over the next 5 weeks, and I would encourage everyone who can to support their efforts as we approach the holiday season. And finally, it's a time to be mindful of our other charities and food banks as they continue to help those in need. Thank you.
Thank you. District 2.
Greetings from District 2. The last breakfast at the Fort George Community Hall for the year is December 3rd. And then they shut down, I think, until 1st of April. Again, support local food banks. December 16th at 7 p.m. in Margarettsville, a festive lighting ceremony at the Willett Park. That's the little park right across from the community hall, going down towards the wharf. And afterwards, at the bar hall, there's hot chocolate and warm cider or cold cider, and cookies. So that's going to go on at the Margarettsville. The Comfort Center in Fort George, we're getting ready. I was over the other day and volunteered with an excavator, and we got everything geared for our propane tanks and our pad for our generator to be set up, and I think the electrician was going to start this week, so hopefully that'll be have some kind of partially done or done by the end of December. I attended the ceremonies at the Lawrencetown Community College for November 11th, Remembrance Day, and it was a nice ceremony. I also went to the Middleton Fireman's Banquet on Saturday. Yes. And said a few words from the county. There was 4 of us attended, and they all kind of pushed my way. So I did say a few words, and then I presented the awards to the firefighters from our county. So, very good. And Christmas is on its way.
District 3, please.
Thank you. I just want to say that hopefully everyone took the time during Remembrance Day to, whether you attended a service or at least took a minute at 11 o'clock to remember those who didn't come back or the ones that are still serving. So just a bit of an update, I guess. So a lot of my time since the last council was spent with the Bridgetown Bank closures and different other community activities. I attended a lot of Bridgetown and area Chamber of Commerce meetings in preparation of getting ready for Light Up the Town celebrations on the 1st of December. As well as I attended the well-turned-out credit union public meeting, myself and there was another councillor. Councillor Connell was there with lots of information to help the citizens that might have an opening for a new bank, as well as the update that the Valley Chamber of Commerce, starting in January in both Bridgetown and Middleton, will be going to 5 days a week, which is good news. Also, I attended the Club 200 fundraiser at the Bridgetown Legion, and the early but great Port Lauren craft sale, and actually get a few Christmas gifts out of the way, which is very unusual for me. Usually it's December 23rd. So there's just a few things that I want to say as a reminder that December 1st, put on your calendar, the Light Up the Town, which is an annual event in Bridgetown. Last year we had over 2,000 people. So there's going to be hot chocolate. We're going to light the tree that the kids from the elementary school decorate a couple days prior to. We were able to get the tree donated by a local vendor, and we're going to utilize the tree hole at the parking lot. Hopefully electrical will be up and running. And so there's lots of activities, so I encourage you to come and bring your family. And it sounds like there's a lot of free giveaways as well, so you might be able to get some of your Christmas gifts. Just saying. And on December 2nd, there's also the monthly Lions breakfast that I've now monthly started serving at, which is a good time to meet people and to help out the community and come for the fantastic pancakes. I'm always on pancake duty. And just one more reminder, I would encourage people with the changing of the seasons that just because it's not summer doesn't mean that we can't get outside and do some type of physical activity, especially if you have kids. So I would encourage everyone to take use of the various free activities, whether it's a free skate. I know that the arena in Bridgetown has free skates on the weekends. So I just encourage everyone to get out there and enjoy once the snow comes, unfortunately. And start planning for the holidays ahead. Thank you.
Sorry. Councillor Connell has an addendum.
I forgot an important thing. I went to the town council meeting last night in Middleton, and there was a presentation there by Rick Jakes. And I really think that he should come to this council chambers and do a presentation on the trail and the developments of the trail, because the town of Middleton had on their agenda a citizen wanted the multi-use trail to be closed down to ATVs and snowmobiles. So there was not a lot of people there, but there were some good comments made. But one of the things I realized, and I didn't realize it before, was that if the citizens of our county call a councillor, they call the county office, they call the warden, and grumble about an event happening from ATVs or off-road vehicles, snowmobiles, or whatever, it doesn't register with the province. And this is one of the big issues, is that they have an 800 number in which we should have on our website for citizens to call, because it was told that over a certain amount of years, there was only 5 calls to that 800 number on concerns. So when Rick Jakes takes a concern that Middleton has about the improper use of off-road vehicles, the minister looks up and says, over the last several years, we've only had 5 calls because it's not registered. Only through that 800 number, the problems that's happening on our trails. So I think it's very important, maybe if we had to come to council and explain that, then it may get out, the word may get out there, but I think that we should try to put something together to put on our website that this is the avenue to go, because the town of Middleton is having several problems with off-road vehicles on their streets. Not so much the trail, but you know they're also using the trail, those individuals. So I thought that was very important that we get that news out to our constituents.
CEO has made note of it.
Thank you.
District 4, please.
Thank you. We're waiting for District 4 at lunchtime. Transitioning the seasons again, and we're going into snow season, so hopefully everybody's, still getting last minute and there's no tires on, because those first seasonal storms are pretty treacherous. I attended the NSM conference activities, and it was very informative, a lot of information. Also, as a preamble on that conference was the policing meeting, and I attended that. While I was up there, I had the opportunity, our MLA, Karen Kerr, extended an invitation to attend the session legislature, which was very interesting. And myself and Councilor Longmire attended and sat in the gallery to see that thing from Holland. It was very informative, really interesting. The Remembrance Day ceremonies, I attended the service at Branch 21 Legion in Alice Rock. Councilor Longmire helped me lay the wreath for the county, and it was amazing the turnout this year. It was packed. It was just nice to see. They had a layout of food and everything following that, which didn't stick around for because it was so crowded, but it was just great. I attended the ribbon cutting for the Mountain Lee facility, which is great to see that new construction actually underway. Everything that is laid in comes to fruition. It's starting up, and it's a great move. I attended the Great Ferry Association meeting, as they always request me to support them and attend their meetings. And I will do the same for any other group that wants to reach out. I'd like to say goodbye officially to our Donner Farm Choir. He was a great fit here, and he will be missed. And wish him all the best in his jobs going forward. And maybe we'll see him come back again someday. Announcement for the closures of the Scotia Bank. I hope that maybe some of the correspondence may be positive. Might be hard to get some traction on changing things around, but going ahead and a branch, either a whole county of announcements, is a little worrisome. And we've discussed that in council, so I won't go over into that. As usual, I listen to concerns of the constituents and bring that information to council and support some people when that happens. Attended the Dallas Farm banquet, which was a great meal, great to meet. There's several councilors that adored the presentation, so we're taking more. But just wanted to mention that it's a great organization. I don't have to thank the firefighters enough. Being one myself in the past, I'm a veteran, that organization, to see it continue and grow. We've been here, the volunteers, is the ultimate story. Just close it up. It's continuing events at all the community halls. Seem to have that as one place to be. But there's been events gone by, there's more to come. Get out and support as much as you can. And then why we don't do them as possible. Thank you.
Thank you. District 5.
Good day from District 5. The temperatures sure are different out there. It is that time of year to book your appointment to get your winter tires on, and I had the pleasure the other night to travel in what I would consider to be a full-on winter storm from Yarmouth to Annapolis. It was interesting. I was traveling at the rate of about 40. Hunting season is in full swing, and it is darker earlier, encouraging all that went out on road or in the woods to wear your bright colors, including your hunter orange. Throughout District 5, there are several groups working hard to finish up different projects. The Port Royal Lighthouse Association are putting on their finishing touches with a date soon to follow to present this beautiful finished lighthouse to the community. This project has taken endless hours, fundraising, and volunteers to make this a real reality. Yesterday, Owen Ritchie was putting on the final stain. Mary and Danny and Owen Ritchie, along with Ian Lawrence, just to name a few, along with Medea and Alan Holtz, have given endlessly, as has the people in and around the surrounding communities. I chatted with Diane and Ricky Hall on the painting of the boards that took place at Lexton's greenhouse in Lakeon. They were just two of the many who would stop by just to paint for a few hours, then handing off their brush. The enthusiasm at this lighthouse comes to life in so many different ways. Yesterday, another gift, a load of gravel, was delivered. Craig Brown from Brown's Brothers, together with a crew of helpers, it was leveled. Ricky Boudreau came out on his tractor while many raked, including Randy Swigert, Mo, and Andrew Welsh. This Saturday from 11 to 3 at the Fundy Hall in Youngs Cove, there will be a craft sale, luncheon, ticket sales, auction, and more. Please stop in if you are in the area. All proceeds are going towards, nonetheless, a heat pump. They are also looking into efficiency. Nova Scotia applying for different grants in order to improve and keep their hall open. So many halls are currently working on this very same goal. I'm looking forward to sharing more if I can. And I would like to just point out, I don't have a rink, I don't have a ball field, I don't have any of those types of things in my community. I have these beautiful halls where people gather. So these are very instrumental. Games night returns and will be held at the Lower Granville Hall beginning on December 3rd, 7 p.m. Bring a snack to share if you wish. And as well, if you would like to bring along a game, it is only a $2 donation at the door for the evening. Our halls are great venues to rent, and many come with fully equipped kitchens and make it a great option for special occasions, events, and gatherings. Please consider renting these halls in order to help them raise funds. Earlier this month, I attended an event at Nepean Farm through the Bota Family Initiative Rice Harvest webinar. The weather didn't cooperate for us to do this session in person, hopefully next year. Nikki and Ian Curry, as they are always preparing to show up and show people how we can do better on our lands. We did do a virtual tour. Also, they just recently recorded a video from their rice harvesting and processing on the farm. From production to harvest, it was so interesting to sit in and learn about rice grown right here in District 5. To find out more, you can always go to NIKIA and Farm, and their website will show you lots of different interesting things. Thankful to be able to lay a wreath on behalf of Annapolis County at the Remembrance Day service, which was packed. on November 11th, 2023 at the Port Royal Legion Branch 21, along with Councillor Bardo. On November 12th, Litchfield Cove Shoreline Cleanup was advertised. Although I was not able to attend, I do look forward to learning more about this group and the work that they are doing to clean up our shorelines. Thank you to the founder of Shoreline Cleanup, Scotian Shores, Angela Riley, and our local District 5 citizen, Bruce Hamilton. Last week, I attended the Nova Scotia Federation of Municipalities Raising the Bar on Local Leadership enriching sessions and discussions on and around topics high on our list in the province, including provincial growth strategy, housing, diversity and inclusion, emergency preparedness, and policing climate change. It was an amazing time with great energy and eagerness to make things happen. As the conference was coming to a close, as Councillor Bardo pointed out, November 9th, MLA Carmen Kerr extended an invite to attend a session at the legislature as a guest. And so both Councillor Bardo and myself accepted. I had some very good discussions with citizens in and around District 5 with regards to the size of council and the mayor versus warden system. In closing, if you can help out at your local food bank, support a family at Christmas, help serve at a Christmas dinner, as there are many around, we can all do just a little. It will help a lot. A very productive month, and I am looking forward to more in the future. Thanks.
Thank you. District 6, please. Thank you. The Clements Historical Society meets once a month in the Clementsport Legion. Members circulate historically interesting documents, publications, and pictures. The Society has a valuable archive of materials that richly illustrates the history of our area. It has recently published its 2024 calendar, and they are available for sale. I've circulated copies of the activity schedules of the Deep Brook Waldeck Lions Club and of the Cornwallis Park Community Association to illustrate the level of activities in both of these well-founded community organizations. The Remembrance Day ceremonies at the Clementsport Legion were well attended and provided an opportunity for folks to pause, remember, and think about the contributions made on their behalf by those who have served in and are serving in our Canadian Armed Forces. Last Saturday, there was a benefit at the Clementsport Legion in aid of the family whose home in Clementsport was recently completely destroyed by fire. The wide range of donated items on which we could bid and the enthusiasm of the bidding is testament to a deep sense of togetherness and willingness to help our friends and neighbors in time of distress. I will not be a candidate in the October 2024 municipal election. Thank you. District 7, please.
Thank you very much. I just want to start just to let, I guess, everyone know that I was away for 2 weeks during the past month visiting my son and my brother in Ontario. So there was a lot of things that I missed on that, and I apologize for that. However, I do want to mention 3 things, 2 of which have already been commented on. The first thing I will mention, I did attend the Valley Credit Union meeting. Councillor Ansel was already reported on that meeting. So I guess all I will add is that I hope people will support the credit union in its efforts to provide full-time financial services to the residents of Bridgetown and the surrounding area. The credit union has gone through some phases. It was a full-time financial institution, went to a part-time financial institution, and now it's going back to a full-time financial institution. And I hope they are successful and will be able to maintain that full-time type of operation. I'd also like to mention that I attended the meeting held by the Lions Club of Bridgetown to gather feedback on the playground splash pad project. They wanted feedback from the citizens onto what they preferred, and the consensus is that the playground should be the priority, and secondly, that the lot next to the Bridgetown Centennial Pool was perhaps the best location for that playground. Finally, I just wanted to mention that the banquet at the Middleton Fire Department, that was last Saturday evening. I attended along with 3 other councillors. Awards were given out to members of the department for the years of service, some of which had been volunteers for over 30 years. This is amazing and shows the pride and dedication that these firemen have to the departments. And I think they need to be recognized for their service. Thank you very much.
Thank you. District 8, please.
Thank you. Before I start here, I just didn't really have one. I had a wreath placed at the Bear River Cenotaph and attended the banquet in the evening on Remembrance Day. The cenotaph is Latin. It means empty tomb. Just out of curiosity, for those who didn't know, that's cenotaph. That's where it comes from. I held my 2 minutes of silence in Kent, where a citizen and I started this little tradition at the start of COVID, when people thought it was okay to forget our thanks to those who gave the ultimate sacrifice. Foresters Hall will be holding a Remembrance tree again this year, and they'll be starting. They'll have a thing there this weekend. Their craft sale, and the Bear River will be holding their craft sale this weekend as well. I attended the Annapolis Firemen's Banquet with which was attended as well by the warden and Councillor Longmire and Bardo. I sat with a former Kings County councillor, Brian Hurdle. It was interesting to talk to him. It was certainly well attended, and the warden gave some good words of encouragement and an interesting address. Our Zach Cromwell received recognition for his years of service, as well as young David Wright. Most of my communication this month has been centered around a statement that was on our website, and I won't go there, and people's displeasure with it. I attended the NSFM and made good connections with other councillors from across the province. Now, the days are getting shorter, and the nights are getting colder. Please, in this season that's coming across us, look after yourself, but also keep an eye out for those other people that might need a little help. And, because the nights are getting cold. And not everybody's as blessed as maybe you and I. And I'll end with a quote from Red Green, and he always said we were all in this together, and I believe that.
Thank you. District 9, please.
Thank you. I just want to say that I've attended many events, including the Remembrance Day service at the Community College in Middleton. And most of my chats with the community lately have been the increase in thefts in our communities, not just my own, everybody's community. And neighbors are helping neighbors now. They're letting each other know. They're kind of not going through the neighborhood watch program, but they're letting each other know when they're away, and they're looking out for each other. So it's a great start to help cut down. It's not going to end it, but it's a start. I also want to announce that there's a bingo every second Saturday at the Fire Hall in Nicktob. The next one is November the 25th. The doors open at 6. And also the 50-50, just a reminder about the firefighters draw. And I also want to announce that I will not be reoffering in the 2024 municipal election. Thank you.
District 10, please. Thank you. There's Christmas in the Village at the Exhibition Youth Arena on Saturday, December 2nd from 4 to 6 p.m. From the Village Commission and Santa for hay rides, hot dogs, and hot chocolate. On December 3rd, starting at 12 p.m., the Inglisville Community Hall is holding their Inglisville Christmas craft sale. And Lawrencetown Legion Beach Dance Party is November 25th from 9 to 1 p.m. and live music at a $10 admission. And the Farm Cafe at NSCC in Middleton have restarted their pay weekend dinners Thursday evenings, 4:30 to 6:30, eat in or takeout, and it supports their various food and security initiatives. Thank you. District 11, please.
I'll keep it short. First of all, I'd like to say that I attended the first Halloween party there was at the Three Rivers Community Center. They were expecting 30. They had upwards to 80. And I just said, oh, don't worry about it. It's just a few classes. No big thing. All ages, like the little babies that couldn't walk, to those that were toddlers that could just start to walk, and grandparents that were there to just enjoy the evening with their grandchildren, myself included. Anyway, so that was great, but you have to look on the Facebook page because the next person that's coming to town is Santa. So therefore, there's going to be an event for that as well as Three Rivers Community Center. I'd also like to say that I attended the Littleton Fire Department banquet. The food was phenomenal, as they usually always do. And it was nice to see all the people that were there that contributed as volunteers and the number of years of their service and all the awards that were presented. It was phenomenal. The last but not least is it's that time of year that the weather's changing, and we definitely have to be mindful of the conditions of the roads and be prepared for whatever happens, because when you cross them over, as Councillor Longmire said, you don't know what you're hitting before you get there, because I've known that for years. Anyway, so thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of the month.
Thank you. The next item on the agenda is the motion tracking list. And before we adjourn, I would like to speak to those who are watching. You've seen a meeting of intense, sometimes, discussion on what are important subjects to the citizens and therefore important subjects to the council. We discuss, we vote, and we adopt council positions, and we will do our best to implement them. Thank you for watching. Meeting adjourned.